Hi guys, it's Joy and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Since it is the holiday season, of course I have to do another baking video. I am on a baking roll for Christmas. I've made banana bread, I've made two different kinds of cookies, white chocolate with hazelnut and just regular chocolate chip cookies. A few of them I threw nuts into as well. And lastly, I thought we could make Christmas crack together. If you don't know what Christmas crack is, the actual definition of the dessert recipe is it's a sweet and salty treat made with saltine crackers covered in a homemade toffee and then topped with melted chocolate, usually semi-sweet, and the toppings you can put on top of that are up to you. I've seen a ton of variations of this recipe on TikTok. Some people like using pretzels, some people use more of like a biscuit on the bottom. I'm just going to make the classic Christmas crack recipe. I've had it only once before, but I just remember being completely obsessed with how it tastes. I've never made it, but it seems pretty easy, so let's just jump into it. Alright, so the very first step is to preheat your oven to 400 degrees, very hot, and if you're using a non-stick baking sheet, which is what I'm doing, I'm going to line it in foil and a little bit of cooking spray, and that's when we put down the first layer of saltines. This is a very easy recipe, so I'm hoping I don't mess this up. Alright, so I have this giant box of saltines. Definitely do not need all of these. I have a small oven, so I'm not going to make too much of this, but if this recipe turns out well, I'm going to make this so often in the future. Oven is turned on to 400. I'm also slightly altering this recipe because my pan is super small, so I only needed 16 saltines instead of 40. So we'll see how this batch turns out. I wish I had more pans. Basically, my saltines are all lined up. I made sure they were all facing the same direction. Not really sure how much that matters. Okay, next step is to heat up your butter and your brown sugar in a saucepan and bring that to a boil, and this is how we're going to make the toffee layer. I just put in my butter. I'm a little nervous about it burning, so I took it off the stove for a sec, and I lowered the temperature because that was scary, but we want to bring it to a boil and mix in our brown sugar with it. This one little piece of butter isn't melting, so I think I'm gonna up the heat a teeny bit just to get it to a boil. I know that from all the recipes I watched on TikTok, you constantly have to stir it, like you have to really pay attention to this part. Okay, this is looking perfect, and it's been about 3 minutes, which is what the instructions said. And now I pour this on top of the saltines. Alright, I'm kind of nervous about this being enough to cover all the crackers, but I think I made it work by spreading it out, and now I'm going to pop this in the oven for 3 to 5 minutes or until it boils. I'm a little bit nervous about my calculations for this recipe because it didn't look like a lot of toffee. Maybe I over-boiled it a little bit, but we'll see. The next step, you have to work very quickly while it's hot. You're going to pour on your chocolate chips, all on top of the saltine and toffee coating. You don't have to melt the chocolate chips beforehand because it'll be so hot, it will melt itself. You can even spread the chocolate with a spatula. I know some people prefer doing a mix of chocolate so it'll get a nice swirl. You could do white chocolate and dark chocolate. I'm going to use semi-sweet because that's what I like the most and that's what I have. And then the last step is you could just top it with whatever you want. I've seen some people do sprinkles, marshmallows, M&Ms, anything red and green to make it look more festive. I have a lot of sprinkles to choose from, so let's see. I might have just snuck a little piece of the toffee from my pot because it dried up sitting on the stove, and oh my god. Ooh. It's so delicious. It's literally just butter and brown sugar, but now I remember why people say this is addicting like crack. Uh-oh. Alright, so looks like it's bubbling a bit, so I'm going to take it out now. Okay, I feel like I'm moving really slowly, but I'm going to try to spread these out with my spatula. I'd say definitely be patient with the melting because for me the chocolate didn't melt right away and I was nervous I would have to put it in the oven again, but now it's melting just how I wanted it to. And definitely be careful taking this out of the oven because even though I was using a mitt, I almost burned myself. It was super hot. Wow, this is looking so nice and smooth. This looks so cool. Now it's time for the toppings. I'm going to use some of this purple sugar crystals and some of these rainbow star sprinkles. Okay guys, I might have gone a little crazy with the toppings, but I was so excited about all the sprinkles I had. I added these little silver beads and a little dusting of blue sugar as well. Not sure how much you can see it though. I'm going to let this cool out for a bit and then you're supposed to pop it in the fridge. You can leave it in there as long as you feel like. I'm probably going to leave it in the fridge overnight before cracking it just because I want it to really solidify. Morning, it is Christmas Eve. I have let my Christmas crack set in the fridge overnight so it's super hard, and now this is the fun part where we crack it. Okay, I'm a little nervous about making a mess, so maybe I'll do this under a tray of some sort. Okay, here we go. Oh. Ooh. Okay, this is easier to crack than I realized. Okay, and that's it. I'll have to show you guys when it's plated a little bit nicer, but I'm really excited about how it came out, and I can't wait to eat this later. Hi guys, it's the day after Christmas. My Christmas crack was a huge hit, at least for me. We had a lot left over because we had lots of goodies, but it still smells and tastes so amazing. Yay! I am definitely obsessed with this stuff. It is truly addicting and hard to put down after you make it, but if you haven't tried making it yet, I highly recommend. I'd say this was a success and I'd give this dessert a 10 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope everyone has a happy holidays and I'll see you again next week with a new video. Bye!